What's going on, Turf Talk? It's me, Richard Donahue, and I'm back with my co-host.
Landon Stuziak, what's going on? Turf Talk, we're back
Yep.
together.
Today, we're talking about all things AFC East, the Buffalo Bills, a little bit about the Dolphins, not as much as last time. And then additionally, we're going to do our top 10 running backs. So, Landon, get started. What's been going off in Bills OTAs in minicamp?
Buffalo Bills, haven't heard from me since the draft on the Bills. The camp, it's been looking good. There's some new faces in the receiving room that need to gel with Elijah Moore, Josh Palmer, Laviska Shenault. But Elijah Moore has looked very well. That's really exciting. James Cook is finally there because he'll lose money if he's not there. Rumor has it he's away from the team, which is obvious. He's been away from the team. So expecting more of a Ray Davis role this year, which is always exciting. Who doesn't love to watch Ray Davis? Mm-hmm. Injuries, though, it's been a little bit. Joey Bosa got hurt at, I think it was minicamp. And just last week, Maxwell Harrison, Bills' first-round pick, got hurt. I don't know if he's back in yet, but it's nothing to worry about. Both will be back for training camp. I think Bosa has been working anyway. And realistically, we don't need Bosa for the regular season. We just need him healthy for the playoffs. But someone who has looked good, shown his athletic ability, is Bills' third-round pick, Landon Jackson. So excited for him. I'm just really excited for our D-line in general. I mean, TJ Sanders has looked really good. Deon Walker, he's a little bit of a 50-50 with Bills fans just because he said that Lamar got robbed for MVP. This was before he got drafted, by the way. And me personally, I don't really care. You can have your own opinion that he thinks Lamar got robbed, then that's what he thinks. I don't think it's as deep as everyone thinks it is. But the defensive line is going to be for sure fun. Underrated guy, Javon Solomon, been high on him since he got drafted. I think we're ready for a Solomon breakout year with Michael Howitt being suspended for the first few weeks. So I'm excited.
Yeah. And does that Joey Bosa injury worry you at all? Because I know the past 2 seasons, I think he's played 7 games in each season. Additionally, they haven't really made the playoffs other than last year. So, I mean, in my opinion, if we had Joey Bosa, I would be very worried just because of, his ankles, his knees. He's an older edge rusher with injury history. So do you think he's going to affect the team with that?
Me personally, I'm not too worried about Joey Bosa. Like I said before, we only really need him for the playoffs. I don't need him playing every single regular season game. I mean, obviously for his injury history and his age now, asking for him to play every single game, it's a pretty tall task. But as long as he's ready and healthy come playoff time in January, that's all I really care about. And like I said, I'm really excited for the younger rotation on the defensive line with Landon Jackson and Javon Solomon, hopefully. And once, I think the middle of the season is where you could see that injury come back to linger for Bosa. But around the middle of the season is when you're going to get a versatile Michael Howitt back. So as of right now, I am not too worried with the Joey Bosa injury. We just need him come playoff time.
Is there any position that really worries you about the Bills?
A little bit of tight end. It's not too worrying, but just in a Dalton Kincaid going into year 3, he's struggled with injuries, especially last year. I think he was wearing double knee braces. I don't know if he still is, but he has beefed up, which is good. But I'm just hoping for a healthy season from him. I'd say safety. I mean, Taylor Rapp is obviously really good, but then you got second year Cole Bishop, and we don't really know a bunch about him. I mean, he struggled when he got in, but I mean, he was 21 years old last year. He's a younger guy. Hoping for him to develop. If not, DeMar Hamlin is back there as well. But other than that, I mean, cornerback health, it's a lot of just health. I mean, it's a really good roster as long as they stay healthy. Cornerback health for sure, because, I mean, once projected starting lineup of boundary corners being Christian Benford and Maxwell Harrison, and then your slot, you got Taron. Benford, obviously, he got concussion last year. I think he had 2 concussions. And his rookie year, he got hurt a decent amount. So he's not the most healthy guy on the team. And then Taron he has had a pretty rich history with injuries as well. And then Maxwell Harrison getting hurt now as more of a faster guy. It's a little worrying, especially with this is a little interruption, but I just got a notification. The Ravens signed Jair Alexander. So they got him for 5 games.
I think this might be the Ravens' year. I know it's like they've been very close for the past 4 years, but it looks like the Chiefs dynasty. I'm not going to say that they've slowed down. They did go to the Super Bowl and win 15 games last year. The only game they lost to was the Bills. But it seems like they've done everything right this offseason. And I honestly think Lamar Jackson, he's been playing great in the playoffs, and it hasn't been on him, especially that Mark Andrews drop. If, they did have, I think it was 1 minute and 17 seconds for Allen to cook, but that was
he just hit a field goal
for Lamar Jackson. He did exactly what he needed to do. Maybe he could have managed the clock a little bit better, but he hasn't been the reason. With this addition, I don't think Henry's going to take that big of a step down. I think he might still have like a 1,600-yard season. And Lamar Jackson, Rashad Bateman got paid, and Rashad Bateman's a dog. They got Zay Flowers. Like they are loaded this year.
They got DeAndre Hopkins too, which I mean he's
a veteran. I mean
people forget like he wasn't bad with the Chiefs last year. He had a few 2 touchdown games, so he's a manageable player. Cornerback room now they just signed Jair Alexander. That's
huge.
On paper, it's a really nasty room. I mean, you got Jair, Nate Wiggins, and Marlon Humphrey. But how many games are you getting out of Jair Alexander? Like, I don't know the last time he had a healthy season. That's the big thing.
That's the whole thing, though. It's the same with Joey Bosa, where these are top guys that these teams are bringing in. But how healthy are they going to be? That's why the NFL is such like I hate the Mickey Mouse rings comparison, because shit happens. Like that's why the
injuries no matter what will happen.
Exactly. The playoffs are so interesting because a team like the 7 seed Giants can go and beat an undefeated Patriots team. Is that a Mickey Mouse ring? It's not. So, I don't know. With the Chiefs being the most beatable they ever have in the past 6 to 8 years, who do you think is going to dethrone them? Do you think the Bills can? Do you think the Ravens can? Or do you think the Chiefs are just going to go to the Super Bowl again?
Well, with that, I think right now it's really – the Chiefs' offense – they are getting better. Rashee Rice is coming back. He's probably not going to get suspended.
Worthy year 2.
Yeah, worthy year 2. Hollywood Brown having another year. Jalen Royals, their rookie receiver, who I really want on the Bills.
Don't forget about Juju Smith-Schuster, too.
Oh, Juju, yeah. Can't forget about him.
Oh, yeah.
And a younger offensive line. I think this is going to be a worse offensive line than they've had the past few years, but I don't think it's going to be bad. By any means, I think it'll be a pretty serviceable line. And then defensively,
worse than last year, you think?
Yes, I do think. Well, okay.
I just think
last year's O-line
better.
Last year's O-line got exposed by the Eagles, but you got to keep in mind they had to play their best offensive line, second best, wherever you put Joe Thuney. Joe Thuney had to play left tackle half the season, and Joe Thuney, he was great at left tackle, no doubt, but he's an even better guard, and they're losing him now. But I just think as they're going to have younger tackles with Ohio State's Josh Simmons. He's dealt with injuries during his career too. I think usually with tackles, it's growing pains year 1. You don't see a tackle right out of the gate, be a certified stud top 10 guy right out the gate usually. And I don't think that's going to be the case with Josh Simmons. I think he's going to show a lot of struggle. And their second year tackle, who's now a guard, Kingsley Suamatia. I don't know what to expect from him, but I just think this O-line is going to be a little worse than last year's, which I don't even think the Chiefs O-line was that bad last year. It's just that Super Bowl run, that just the Super Bowl game, it made their O-line look really, really bad.
Yeah, I don't really put it past the Chiefs offensive line saying that they're below average. I think that D-line was just that good. They have so many guys that are all pro players, and they have that team, when you actually look back at how good they were, they had 5 finalists for NFL awards.
Disgusting.
That doesn't even make sense to me. That obviously they're going to kill the Chiefs. The Chiefs, they were not – I'd say this was the worst the Chiefs have looked in the past 3 years of them going to the Super Bowl easily. And, I mean, they just happen to face their best opponent, which is unfortunate. But when it comes to the AFC, I think it really is between the Baltimore Ravens, the Buffalo Bills, and the Kansas City Chiefs. My opinion, I'm not going to bet against the Chiefs, but if someone's going to do it, I think it's going to be the Ravens. I think what needs to happen is the Ravens play the Chiefs. I don't think the Ravens are going to beat the Bills, but I don't think the Bills will beat the Chiefs.
The Ravens got to worry about not playing in Highmark. I mean, the Ravens, as of late, they don't win in Highmark. They won in 2018 or 2019, but that doesn't count in my opinion. So if they can, I think week 1, Baltimore 100% has a chance to win in Highmark, but that means nothing as you go, maybe they play the divisional round. You're talking 18 to 19 weeks down the road, they'll be playing again. But I really just think it's kind of like Buffalo needs, I can't even say that because Buffalo's lost in Buffalo too, so it's hard to say. It's who's going to take the crown away from the Chiefs. They're holding it out, but they got a good grip on it. Who's going to take it? Mm-hmm. And I like what you're saying. I think it's a big 3. It's Baltimore, Buffalo, Kansas City. I really do think that there's a really big gap between those 3. Houston's obviously talented and can give you a run for your money, but I don't think they played KC in the divisional this year. They couldn't beat them. And then they played Baltimore in the divisional the year after, or the year before. They couldn't beat them. And they haven't made a substantial help their offensive line, where I think CJ Stroud got sacked 8 times last year by the Chiefs in the playoffs. And they did not do anything to substantially make their offensive line better. So truly, I don't see Houston as that big of a threat for this 3. The Chargers, they're not a bad team, but it's just, I don't know. There's something.
Marion Hampton would have to arrive with 1,600 all-purpose for them to even compete in the divisional.
Yeah, I think the Chiefs' main competition in the division is 100% Denver. But it's really looking into if Bo Nix has a sophomore slump or that offense backs up a little bit, then it's the Chiefs division for sure. That defense isn't going anywhere. They recharged that defense. It's 10 times better than it was last year, which is crazy to say. That defense worst showing was probably against the Bills in the playoffs. But so if that offense doesn't take a step back, I think Denver is closer than most to that big 3. And then other playoff teams, who else even made the playoffs last year? Pittsburgh, no.
Honestly, no one even competes.
No one else is really close.
The top 3 teams in the AFC are all top 3 quarterbacks. It seems like the AFC is the conference of quarterbacks, and the NFC is the conference of teams and kind of building around a stud, obviously, a Jordan Love, a Jalen Hurts. I'm not even going to talk about the Commanders because they're in their own world, but they have these good teams with serviceable quarterbacks, and that's how they've been getting there. You look at a Brock Purdy or a Jalen Hurts. If you go even back farther, I think Stafford is one of those top players, so that kind of breaks it up. But that was a weird year where even Joe Burrow was in the Super Bowl. So, I don't know. I think realistically – a sleeper, obviously, is going to be the Bengals. They're such a terrible organization. They're almost as bad as the Browns. They won't pay Shamar Stewart, and I seen that he might go back and get redrafted next year, which is the stupidest thing I've ever seen.
That's so stupid.
Just give him a rookie contract. They're saying if he gets hurt in the 2025, 2026, or 2027 season, that all of his guaranteed money is voided. Why? Like, no one has ever done that. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Shamar Stewart it was kind of an interesting pick when it happened, but I think it's right now. I mean, for him, I understand where he's coming from, but going back into the draft, think about how much money that will lose him. Mm-hmm. I mean, you go back into the draft, you're going from what? He went 17th overall. You're going from a mid-first round pick to probably getting taken like late day 2 or day 3, because all these other people, they've had their college football seasons to play, and he's just been he didn't play. He was just training. So, but the thing with the Bengals is I can't take them serious. I'm sorry, but how has their defense gotten better? Like, you can show me these little pieces that they've added. It doesn't matter. Your best player on defense, Trey Hendrickson, is holding out because you refuse to pay him. It's such a brain-dead organization, and I'm not the biggest fan of Bengals fans. Lately, Bills and Bengals fans, they used to have a good little friendship. Lately, it's been a little bit off. Bengals fans on Twitter are just really annoying. But I'm sure that's how they see Bills fans on Twitter too, so it's kind of mutual. But I feel bad for them. They have the cheapest owner ever and just an awfully ran organization. Dare I say, if this keeps going with Cincinnati and if Cleveland keeps getting better, that Cleveland could have a better organization than them, which would be crazy to say.
I mean, they're having problems in their own with, like, your best quarterback that's playing right now is a 5th-round rookie that should have won in the 1st round. They have so many different problems. They have 5 quarterbacks on the roster. They have Deshaun Watson's hell contract that they're like literally bound to for the next 2 years.
Yeah,
Flacco might be their starting quarterback at 41 years old. Then you have Kenny Pickett, who you traded for and you drafted, Dylan Gabriel. So now you can't start Shedeur Sanders because then why would you draft Dylan Gabriel?
Yeah, I don't.
You drafted him. It doesn't make sense. Like they're just one of those organizations. They're like they need regime change. Stefanski's good. He's dude. It might be a general manager thing. I don't even know what's wrong with them. But same with the Bengals.
I don't hate the way that their GM drafts, though. I think that's the biggest problem with me. It's just really that Deshaun Watson trade is what destroyed the Browns. That was the stupidest thing. I think it's still the same GM. I don't think they ever fired him. I think it's still
no. It is, and the problem is you forget.
Yeah, his last name's Barry or something.
They kicked out Baker Mayfield, who just went for 4,541 touchdowns.
Yeah, that was stupid. I mean, Baker was playing. I don't think Baker playing on an injury was smart to begin with.
Bro, he was playing on an injury for the team. Like
I know that's just the man Baker Mayfield is. And then for a season, I think they made the AFC they made the divisional round, nearly beating Kansas City, where they would have played in Buffalo.
Yeah, and you remember what they did to the Steelers the round before? They made them throw like 4 picks.
Yeah, no. So you have that, and then you have an 8-9 mediocre season. Players got hurt. It happens. The Niners went from a Super Bowl team to a 5-win team, 2019 to 2020. Injuries are going to happen. You can't make that drastic of a change based off of that. I mean, they went from a guy, Deshaun Watson, who had alleged cases, who I don't know if they're actually true or if they're still just rumored to be true. I don't really care.
He kind of just paid off all the women. He gave them 100.
Yeah, I mean, that's what rich athletes are going to do. But
bringing him into the worst organization after we already know that he's a toxin, I don't even understand why they would do this. And then they side with Odell Beckham over Baker Mayfield when they got rid of Odell anyways. And then Odell goes. Yeah. It's so ironic. Odell wins a Super Bowl as soon as he leaves Cleveland. Baker has to go to the hell. He goes from hell to hell over to the Panthers. Then he gets revived with McVay because McVay's amazing.
Oh my God! Don't get me started on McVay. I love McVay so much. He's such a good coach. And then he
That story is awesome.
Gets to go to another like coach that people hate on, Todd Bowles. I think Bowles runs a great organization over there. Will they win a Super Bowl anytime soon?
Dude? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's Bruce. You went from Bruce Arians, who is a top coach. He's probably, I don't know his whole track record, but he'll probably be in the Hall of Fame one day. Yeah. You go from Bruce Arians to Todd Bowles. Obviously, it's going to be a different change. You're also going from Tom Brady to Baker Mayfield. I mean, Baker's a great quarterback, but he's no Tom Brady. But I think a lot of people
this year, though. I mean, he had an insane.
He did.
A lot of people just had 4 more picks, but he had like 4 more touchdowns too.
Yeah. Well, people just talk about bad on Todd Bowles because it's that last season with Brady where they went 8-9 and they lost in the wild card to the Cowboys, which I mean that offensive line just was not built for the moment. And Brady, I mean, you could see the breaks were running off, but he was also still playing awesome football. But yeah. I think just a lot of fans are just hard on Todd Bowles as a coach. But I really think he's a great coach, in my opinion.
Look what he did with Bucky Irving. I mean, you could say that was Liam Cohen or whatever that dude's name is, but
yeah, Liam Cohen. I'd give that to Liam Cohen a little bit.
I don't know.
Bowles is the defensive guy.
Such a hog, though. Bucky Irving's my guy. I love Bucky Irving.
Bucky Irving. Liam Cohen's gone now. Dude, they're growing offensive coordinators on trees over there.
That's what I'm saying. I don't even know if it is. Like, it might be just a head coach thing. Like, you say coordinators are that good. I look at Detroit this year. They lost both their coordinators. I think they're going to be fine. They're going to win 11 to 12 games. They're going to be good because it's the culture that they've instilled. I think coordinators get played up by the head coach, and that's why certain coordinators can't become head coaches because they're not the same caliber of head coach that they had.
Yeah, look at like coaching trees. Like there's the McVay tree, the Shanahan tree, all those kind of trees. See where okay, so McDaniel is from the Shanahan tree, correct? For Niners offensive coordinator.
It's kind of the 2012-2013 Washington team. But yeah, the Shanahan tree.
Yeah, well, Shanahan, what's his name? Mike Shanahan or something? I can't remember.
Yeah, if you look at
Mike Shanahan was the coach of the Redskins.
He had like Robert Saleh, who ended up coming back this year. He had Daniels. They had a really good tree.
Yeah, no, and you just look at stuff like that, and it's all based off of one head coach. Like I think Mike Shanahan is where this all starts. And that all bases off, and you can just look at how many head coaches there are in the league based off that one tree just sprouting out. It's crazy.
I think it's like at one point there was 6 or 7 head coaches from that Washington team. It was Morris, McVay, McDaniels, Shanahan. They're so loaded. It's so weird to think that, what is going on? You see this shit?
See what?
Bro, I had to time out 2 separate people.
Oh, I don't even have the chat open.
Bro, they're saying some crazy shit in the chat. Yeah, you can't see it because
Yam was banned and Ken Tamper Yoke Academy.
No, I'm not even going to repeat what they were saying, but
we can talk about it later.
Yeah. I don't know, but don't sleep on the Dolphins. I think a healthy Tua gives them like a 10 to 11 win season again. If he stays healthy. If he's not healthy this year, I think we're going to end up moving on. Oh, my gosh. It's another one. Dude, why are we getting spammed? This is
I didn't see it before. From Vic. What are we doing?
I don't know. Yeah, but McDaniels and Tua Tagovailoa, they have such a good connection. If they can stay healthy, I think they're a 10 to 11 win season. Easily, too. It's not like a question. I think they can keep games. The problem is they haven't really performed in the cold. And that's not me saying Tua hasn't. I'm saying the team. The team is aware. I think it's kind of funny. They're saying, people on Dolphins Twitter, talking about culture change and how the culture is finally changing. Oh, wow. Dude, I think we're getting, it's the same person on Maddox.
Okay, yep. And I've seen Thank you, Mitch. Thank you.
Thanks, Mitch. I appreciate it. But they're saying a culture change is just practicing in the rain. I almost think that they should have been doing that since day one.
They weren't. They don't practice through weather.
No, they would go inside for the past like 4 years, which is kind of crazy to me, at least. But yeah, they're practicing in the rain. They think that that's going to switch their culture. Let's see what they can do in anything lower than 40 degrees. You know what I mean? We'll see that. If Tua can win a playoff game and stay healthy, he's going to stay. But if not, the whole regime needs to change. I think McDaniel's gone. Chris Greer's a great drafter, but he's gone. Tua's gone. And then we're going to bring in someone, probably a good coordinator from another team, unfortunately. But I would like wasn't it Vrabel? Vrabel would have been good, but, now he's on the Patriots.
New England.
I don't know, but let's talk a little bit about the AFC East. Get into that real quick. I don't believe this Patriots hype. I mean, they're really banking on a second-year May, which I think May will be good. They win 10 games at most. Like, I don't see a world where they end up, number one, winning a playoff game or winning more than 10 games. So my prediction is going to be like 8-9, 9-8. It's the first year of Vrabel. And their roster isn't that good. Their receivers, their best receiver is Stephon Diggs, we know what he's doing on boats. So that's not great.
I mean, I like Drake May, but Drake May is a heavily overrated player in the league. I mean, I don't know his stats on the top of my head. I'm pretty sure he had 13 touchdowns to 10 picks. Yep. Obviously, that Patriots team wasn't the greatest last year, but we can't be putting him in. There's people who try to claim he's better than Tua. No, he is not. Crazy. Are we even certain he's better than Justin Fields? No. I'm sorry, but his sample size is not big enough for people to be ranking him where he is. I mean, can he have a great season? 100%. Josh McDaniels is back. Awesome offensive coordinator. He has some weapons they drafted Kyle Williams in the second. He's a great player. They got Diggs, obviously. See what he did with Josh Allen. It's just, you can't, it's hard to say what they're going to be because you don't know what Drake May is going to be. Obviously, you saw these amazing plays he was making. He showed his potential, but you can't just bank an entire season off of a little bit of potential that you saw. That's like saying the 2019 Bills were going like 11 to 12 wins.
Dude, Anthony Richardson. It's like
100%.
We've seen 4 games out of him, and everyone thought that the Colts were going to be amazing. And then you saw what happened. Drake May hasn't shown. He's had flashes, but so many people have had flashes. You know what I mean? Like,
I know. Yeah, you can find. Let's think. Tommy DeVito. Tommy DeVito has shown a lot of flashes. I'm seeing that I'm not opening this chat, but I'm getting that. Like, I'm seeing down here that it's going. I'm not opening.
All right, I timed them out.
Dude, oh my God. No, but like guys like Tommy DeVito have showed a lot of promise through a few games, but we all know Tommy DeVito's not going to be a star. He's not. He probably won't even make he'll be on the Giants practice squad most likely. But DeVito's not going to go be a franchise quarterback. Any player can show a glimpse of something. Like, I think your Anthony Richardson, that was perfect. Mm-hmm. Anthony Richardson looked good in his first few NFL games, but we see Anthony Richardson now. Anthony Richardson struggles to stay healthy. He struggles to be accurate and make timing throws and read defenses. But he has a big arm and he can move. What does Drake May have? A big arm and he can move. I'm not saying that they're the same players. I'm just saying I really did like that comparison between them. Mm-hmm. But you just can't. The Patriots are, I think predicting them to have 8 wins is kind of like the perfect place because they improved heavily in the offseason, got a better coach, got better coordinators, improved on defense, improved on offense. That's what you need to do. But I think having them jump up to like 10, 11 wins, people saying having them competing for the division, making playoff runs, no way. Mm-hmm. No, it is way too early for the Patriots to say stuff like that, but that's kind of just like, it's like where Chicago was last year. Like, I'll be honest too, I overrated Chicago last year. and I'm probably going to do it again this year. But it's
No,
the same thing.
I don't know if you're going to overrate Chicago this year. We'll get into that next, but they try. Let's stop talking about it. But I don't know if you're going to overrate them. I think everyone's going to underrate them this year. Okay. They're one of my favorite teams this year.
I feel like if you look at it, the Jets and the Patriots are in similar areas.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they both have – it's two unproven quarterbacks. I mean, what has Justin Fields proved? He has improved a lot. And Drake May, what has he proved? He has improved a lot. So these are two quarterbacks who – I mean, obviously Drake May – has a lot more time than Justin Fields has. I mean, Fields is going on his third team in what? He was drafted 2020, so 5 years? 4, 6, 5?
No, 2021. He was drafted.
2021. Okay, yeah, 2021, so 5 years-ish. 5, yeah.
He's going into his 5th.
Yeah, so you're looking at that. Obviously, May is going to have a lot more time than Justin Fields has, but they're both unproven. And they're both going to teams that both had losing records last year and were bottom of the division. So you can't just – it's like the Jets when they got Aaron Rodgers, a little bit of offseason improvement and hype. You can't just take this drastic, they're going to be in the playoffs, they're going to be competing kind of stuff. It's just they're super overrated, and it's annoying. It's just really annoying.
I think – This might actually be a hot take, but I think the New York Jets will have a better record than the Patriots this year.
I was going to say that, yeah.
I think what's going on right now is they have no expectations, and that's great for Justin Fields.
They're flying under the radar.
Yeah, that's perfect for them, especially with Fields. He's one of the 3 quarterbacks to have 1,000 rushing yards. We know he's amazing with that. In Pittsburgh, he looked great. He looked like he was hitting his reads, which honestly was one of his main faults in my eyes. He had them at a 4-1 record, 10 touchdowns to 1 pick ratio. I have no idea why they went with Russell Wilson, to be honest, and I don't think they should have gotten rid of them. With Aaron Glenn, I think that and Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, back Ohio State connection, I think they're going to have a really good year. They always have a great defense, and with Aaron Glenn, I think their defense is going to take a step up from the past couple of years. They got a new offensive coordinator. I think they're going to be really good. And honestly, the Patriots, yeah, they did do a lot of good stuff. They got their guys like Harold Landry. Mike Vrabel got his guys that he knows. I like that mentality. It's like the Vikings getting Andrew Van Ginkel. That was a great pickup for them. It's a Brian Flores guy. You know what I mean? Like, you getting your guys is very important for a head coach, for a coordinator. That's exactly why when Mike McDaniel came to Miami, they were getting a bunch of San Francisco guys because he knows them. He likes them. You need to do that. And I think both teams did that. I think the AFC East will be a very competitive division. I think there are going to be lulls for both teams, and there's going to be parts in the season where you're like, wow, these teams do not look good. But I think overall, Fields has just as much potential as May. Like, I think Fields has had such a rough time. He's had a terrible organization, as in the Bears, and then he goes to the Steelers and didn't even have a chance, really. So I think if you have a chance, like, yeah, he's a bridge quarterback right now, but you know who else was a bridge quarterback? Geno Smith. He played really good. I don't think the bridge quarterback is a bad thing. I think he can still play at a high level. He came into the league young. I think he's like 25 or 26. He still is very mobile. I mean, he's younger than guys like Tua Tagovailoa. He's younger than guys like Jordan Love. Like all of these guys that are just coming into themselves. Like Jordan Love's going into his year 3. So he's younger than Jordan Love. He has the potential to do whatever he wants. We've seen crazier things happen.
You confused me for a second there.
What's up?
You said Love's going into year 3. You meant year 3 as a starter?
Yeah.
I'm like, what? I was confused for a second, but I had to think about it.
Yeah, year 3 as a starter. Speaking of the Bears, though, Caleb Williams, I want to hear your takes about Caleb Williams and the Bears because I feel very strong about the Bears this year. This might be because I'm a Lions glazer too, but I don't know. I'm very excited.
I'm a Vikings glazer, so I don't know.
I don't know. I think
I'm just
that whole division.
Yeah, honestly, just NFC North. I'm a hardcore Vikings laser, though. I don't know why. I just love the Vikings. But the Bears last year, I think I had them as a playoff team last year just for how much they improved. And once again, how much they've improved. Caleb Williams didn't have much offensive line help last year, went through some growing pains. He's heavily overhated, by the way. I really like Caleb Williams. I don't know where the hate comes from, but I think he's going to have a great bounce back year, which he wasn't even that bad his rookie year. He went through some slumps and all, but it's going to happen with every rookie quarterback. The only thing I'm a little bit shocked about is their running back room. I really thought they were going to take a swing at a free agent or take a swing in the draft at someone. But I mean, they did take Rutgers running back. I don't know much about him. They took him late. But I mean, with guys like J.K. Dobbins and Nick Chubb who just left the market, I thought that they were going to maybe take a swoop at one of them. But they're sticking with DeAndre Swift, which kind of makes sense. I mean, DeAndre Swift is a Ben Johnson guy. He's been on Ben Johnson's team before. So, but other than that, receiving-wise, they have year 2 Roma Dunze. They have stud DJ Moore. They have Luther Burden, who looked awesome and fell to the second round, fell right to them. And I think the way they've improved their offensive line is crazy. They've made a really obvious point that they want their offensive line to be better. And that's perfect. That's what you want for your team. Now, who'd they take in the first round?
Loveland.
Colston Loveland. Okay. Yeah, I mean, receiving-wise, they got Loveland and Cole Kmet. That's a nasty duo.
Roma Dunes, too. He's a dog.
Yeah. Defensively, I don't know exactly what they've done defensive line-wise for the offseason. That was a little bit of a wishy-washy part for them last year. But I think defensively they'll be – I'm not expecting a top 10 unit. I'm thinking around 18 to 15 is where they're going to be defensively. But their offense is, I think, going to be top 10, maybe even top 5.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, their offense is going to be good. With Swift, I think he's like the exact example of a plug-and-play guy, someone that's not going to get huge money but can come and give you good numbers. It's not really a surprise that he's been on multiple teams in 3 years. He went from the Lions, then the Eagles, then the Bears. In my eyes, they probably stick with Swift because he's a familiar guy for Ben Johnson. He knows he can use him for a year. It's year 1, and then they could go out and get a better guy when the time comes and when they have an opportunity. Maybe they didn't want to go and take a reach on a guy. They wanted to install more pieces for Caleb Williams. They really went out and got 5 amazing linemen. Their line should be really good this year, which is huge because Caleb Williams had a great touchdown to interception ratio on top of having the 3rd most sacks in NFL history in a season with 68. Number 1 is 72, so he was not very far off. Additionally, they went out and got their guy, Colston Loveland, which if you like him more than Tyler Warren, it looks like a reach, but maybe we'll look back and it's not. You know what I mean? That's their guy. They did it with Laporta, and it seemed to work, so maybe that's going to work again with the Bears and Loveland. They have a great receiving core. They have a decent running back. And if you look at Caleb Williams, he went 23 touchdowns and 3 picks. That is an insane ratio, actually, for your first year. When you're
he only threw 3 picks?
Yeah. And dude, you got to understand, they had Matt Eberflus, who was the worst head coach, ever. He's on par with, 2016 Browns coach. Or he's on par with guys like Adam Gase. He was
I was about to say Adam Gase.
He was so bad. Matt Patricia, Matt Canada. This is the level of terrible that this guy was playing at or coaching at. And Caleb Williams still had an insane statistical season, 3,500 yards. And he was getting killed. He was getting sacked. I don't know the math, but at a lot, 4, 5, 6 times a game. 68 sacks in a season, that is That's awful, and that's kind of scary when you look at Derek Carr's brother. What's his name?
David.
David Carr. Yeah, David Carr. He had all the potential in the world, but got killed, and he was getting pounded.
His rookie year. I think it's the NFL allowed sack record.
Yeah, that it's only 4 away from what Caleb Williams had. I get that there was another game too, but still, guys like Andrew Luck retiring after 9 or 10 years because of sacks. Like you gotta protect your young quarterback, and I think they did. I think that they have a decent run game, and they're gonna have a decent running back, and obviously in years to come they're gonna improve that. But I see a 10-win season. It's a very tough division. That's why like a 9 to 10 win season is a positive. But you got to understand, Ben Johnson, he's going to be so much better than what they've had. The line is so much better than what they had. The receiving core is going to be better. Keenan Allen was, he was a little old, but Luther Burden was an absolute stud. Colston Loveland just adds more versatility. He can play the slot. He can play the true tight end. He can block. Obviously, you want him running more routes, but this team excites me so much. I'm really excited with this team. Additionally, too, I think he could have numbers on par with the Jaden Daniels. I think the team around Caleb Williams will be better than the team around Jaden Daniels. Just Jaden Daniels is so good that they're going to have similar stats. Obviously, he has more with his legs than Caleb Williams, but I think Caleb Williams statistically passing might be a little bit better. Maybe more touchdowns, maybe more yards. We might see our first 4,000-yard passer in Chicago history. You never know.
Yeah.
What do you think about the Commanders? Because this is a team that has the whole year been carried by Jaden Daniels, and they got better, but not much. You know what I mean? I think this is a team that can be carried to a Super Bowl by Jaden Daniels, and I think the Eagles game kind of exposed how much Jaden Daniels was carrying the team. This was the second worst team in 2023, and they turned into a top 4 team in the league. So what are your thoughts on the Commanders?
I mean, they made another team that made offensive line improvements. They got Debo, which doesn't move the meter much for me. It's not that much. They drafted Trey Amos. I mean, it's really just it's a team that did not need to do that much to heavily improve. They just had to get some little things to become more complete of a team. But once again, it really relies on, I mean, you see it so much, a sophomore slump with, I mean, just CJ Stroud last year, sophomore slump. But I don't want to predict a sophomore slump because I feel like I do it all the time. I'm like half predicting it with Drake May, even though he didn't have that great of a season to begin with. But I think they're going to be a really good team. I don't think they have what it takes yet to take down Philadelphia. Philadelphia is still an unreal team. And I just don't think they're there yet, but I think they're going to get there soon. Cliff Kingsbury, I love it. I love Cliff Kingsbury. Didn't work out with Arizona as a head coach, but as an offensive coordinator, he's been great.
Mm-hmm. No, for sure. I think the addition of Jahad Campbell, I mean, that's just terrible for the league. They do it every year, too. They had that Texas safety who, honestly,
Mukbu or whatever.
That guy is not far off from Amanawari. He's not far off. I'll say he's a little farther from Starks, but he's not that far. You know, this guy was a very good player. They got him right at the end of the second. They draft well. They draft BPA, and they draft really good. You look at their positions, every position is stacked, and they haven't really lost too much. I think, again, like with a healthy Saquon Barkley season, this team, we could very well see them playing in February, just like we did this year. Like, it is a very hard team to beat. I think Jaden Daniels is going to have similar numbers to what he had this year. Maybe he puts up closer to 1,000 rushing yards. I think they might use his legs a little more. I saw towards the end of the year they were using him on designed runs, which is going to be really scary for the league as long as he stays healthy, if he can do designed runs, because you never know. He could be the 4th quarterback in NFL history to rush for 1,000 yards. We've seen Fields do it, and I think he's just as mobile. He's super good, and I think when we're talking sophomore slump candidates, my number one is going to be Bo Nix. I think Bo Nix had an insane year for his situation. He's a very older type player. I think he came into the league at 24, very experienced, very good with Sean Payton, but I don't think they made that much improvements when it comes to the offensive side of the ball. The defensive side of the ball looks good, and I think they could still be a contender in the playoffs. Offensively, they got J.K. Dobbins. I don't really know how good J.K. Dobbins is. I do think that Chargers scheme with Harbaugh really inflated his numbers. I think we're going to see this year with Najee Harris and Omarion Hampton that they're that good, but that scheme is meant for running the ball. That's a reason why you've seen Herbert's production drop from being a 5,000-yard passer and having all these crazy numbers to a simple, I think he had 20 touchdowns and like 4 picks. Like he had a good ratio, but it was low numbers because they were a running first team. They want to kill you with the ground game, tire out the defense, let Herbert take what he can get. I don't know. I mean, I think Bo Nix gonna have a sophomore slump, but you never know. He might be able to improve more than anyone else sees. You know what I mean? That's why the NFL is so hard to predict. Like you really don't know.
I think J.K. Dobbins is a perfect time to kind of roll this in. Top 10 running backs.
Mm-hmm.
And a position that was revived last year with new guys going to new teams. Saquon Barkley, 2,000 yards, Offensive Player of the Year. And MVP candidate, Derrick Henry. Did he hit 2,000 yards, or was he just really close?
1,900, but
okay, Derrick Henry really close.
More touchdowns than Barkley. One more.
He was tied for league with touchdowns with James Cook and Gibbs. Yep. And then Josh Jacobs, who had a down year with the Raiders, and then came in, rushed for like 1,600 yards, a lot of touchdowns. Absolute dog. Day one, Josh Jacobs supporter right here. That put a big smile on my face. Real ones remember Dan Mitchell. I told him I will be drafting him in fantasy, and I did, and he put up good numbers for me. But top 10 running backs. Let's hear it.
All right. I think number one is unanimous. I'm going Saquon Barkley with my number one pick, 2,000 yards, Offensive Player of the Year, Super Bowl MVP. Oh, wait, he didn't get MVP. Hurts did. But either way, could have won Super Bowl MVP, could have broke the rushing record, had 2,000 yards, which we haven't seen since 2020 with Derrick Henry. A great year.
Saquon Barkley, it's too obvious that number one. But as you just listed, number two, Derrick Henry. I mean, he's 31 years old. He's rushing for nearly 2,000 yards still with Baltimore. Awesome run game. I mean, you don't see a lot of running backs that are like 6'3", 230 plus pounds.
Yeah.
Often, so you kind of just have to take that in and just notice that Derrick Henry's going to kill your team. I know he kills the Bills all the time.
All the time. I mean, he is so good. And he is a great player, but in my ranking, I'm going off of next year, and I'm going to say my number two is Bijan Robinson because Bijan Robinson has had an amazing year last year. He has flourished, and I'm not just talking about his rushing ability or his receiving ability. The way that he can block, he goes out on these checks routes and literally set defensive ends onto the ground. This guy is a monster. I think this year, even with this Falcons offense, who is a little question mark with Penix, you never know what's going to happen.
Whoa.
He's played 4 games. You never know.
Okay, I love Michael Penix Jr., and he's going to have a big season. But that's the topic for another day. My number 3 is the man you're saying right now, Bijan Robinson. Yep. I mean, like you said, he is the most complete back in the league. He can power through someone. He can stiff arm someone. He can juke someone, spin. He's nasty. He's got like that Madden human joystick like ability thing in real life.
Yeah.
He can catch passes. He can block. There's not much that he can't do. And I think he like under the radar, his season, he had 2,000 all-purpose yards, I think.
Yeah.
And like no one talks about him enough. I don't hear enough Bijan. I mean, everyone has him in the top 5, even top 3. But it's just I don't hear enough Bijan Robinson talk, and he has a he has the chance to go up 2 spots on my list and take that number 1 spot this coming season.
I almost think that no one talks about him because of what Henry and Saquon did. Additionally, with Josh Jacobs, everyone was looking at the guys with the new teams when, I mean, Bijan, he's going in here. He was in year 3. You know what I mean? He did what he had to do, and he was an absolute dog. My number 3 is really simple. I'm just going to go Derrick Henry. With 1,900 yards and 18 touchdowns, how do you not put him in the top 3?
Yeah, you know, it's Derrick Henry. You can't not put him there. See, here's where it starts to get tricky. But number 4, I'm not going to think about it too much. Number 4 is going to be Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah, easily.
Another guy who really showed a lot. He was unbelievably explosive, unbelievably good. He doesn't wear number 26 anymore. He did switch to 0. That's kind of disappointing. But he's a really electric back. He's fast, explosive, can juke you out. Good catch, receiving back. He's really just a great back for a 1-2 punch combo with David Montgomery in Detroit.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I have him at my number 4 too, more of statistical reasons. Even with Montgomery, he still put up 80 yards a game at least. He was putting up touchdowns. He was great. Then when you see him go down with a torn ACL, somehow Montgomery was able to come back from that. Still don't understand how.
Crazy. That was crazy.
That was weird. It was the same as the Mark Andrews situation a couple years back. But, yeah, 20 touchdowns all-purpose, that is something that no one has done. I mean, 20 touchdowns all-purpose is spectacular. And for Jahmyr Gibbs, with a team that runs the ball with 2 running backs, that is so, unbelievable that he was able to do that. So props to him. He's my number 4. And then, obviously, just to finish off the top 5, I'm going to put Josh Jacobs. Incredible year. That Lambeau team, they really they ran the ball a lot, and they relied more on the run game this year than they did with Jordan Love's year 1. I think that, again, they will do the same, and he will dominate. He is so hard to get down. He's so dense, and he can take an outside stretch. He could take an inside run. He could take power. He could do duo blocks. Anything that you do, he can do it. He's an all-around back. He's even able to catch the ball. I mean, obviously they don't use him a lot in the receiving game, but he is able to do that too.
I mean, I could talk about Josh Jacobs forever. I mean, just right here, we got Josh Jacobs right here. Little Raiders Josh Jacobs.
Oh, yeah.
Then got a Packers Josh Jacobs right here as well. I mean, I can talk about him forever. Certified stud. Let's just say, all I got to say is that 2023, or maybe it's 2022, all-pro season, best running back in the league. That was not a fluke. He's here, and he's going to keep grounding and pounding and just going crazy, scoring touchdowns. He's my number 5. He's a beast. I love Josh Jacobs.
For sure. Who's your 6?
Ooh, number 6. There's so many guys. I gotta. You go first. Let me think.
All right. I'm going to go – it's a simple pick. Realistically, he has performed ridiculous the past 2 years. When you look at his yards per carry, his touchdown numbers per attempt, his ability to put the team on his back even during games where they are getting killed, and this player is still putting up over 150 yards. His first ever game – or his second ever game, he put up 200 yards and 4 touchdowns. Devon Achane at number 6. He's so fast that some runs he has 75 yards and he doesn't even get touched. He is that good. His problem is mainly when, and this is not even his problem, it's a Dolphins problem. When Tua is not on the field, he has a huge production drop. But also, that is kind of like any other team. Do you think that Isaiah Pacheco is going to have the same production when Patrick Mahomes goes out? Hell no. I honestly think that production drop is not on him. But when you look at just what he's done in the past 2 years, per capita, yards per capita, touchdowns per capita, yards per catch, yards per completion, everything that he does, yards per carry, everything he does is so efficient. He's so good. He's my number 6.
Yeah, and my number 6 is I really like A-Chain, but I'm going to give it to Jonathan Taylor, another kind of under-the-radar guy who's still really good.
Yep.
I mean, he missed a few games last year. I still think he had like 1,300 yards and a few touchdowns. I mean, other than staying healthy, he's still in that 2021 form of just an amazing player. I mean, Jonathan Taylor he's a beast still to this day. He's just got to stay healthy. And honestly, get out of Indianapolis. Get him somewhere new, and you're going to see a Saquon, Josh Jacobs, Derrick Henry type season, putting Jonathan Taylor back at the top.
Yeah, it's hard. I have two players in mind, but I'm going to go with Jonathan Taylor for my number 7. It really is hard, but what he was able to do in 2021, I just remember that game against the Bills with 5 touchdowns.
Yeah, I was there.
Like he was unstoppable. It looked like he was untouchable. So I'm going to go him at number 7.
That was the worst Bills game I have ever gone to. It was raining. It was awful. Mitch Trubisky threw a pick. It was bad. It was bad.
Oh, yeah.
So, we're at number 7 now. My number 7 is going to be, you listed him, De'Von Achane. Unbelievably explosive, not only in the run game, but the pass game. Just want to see a little bit more of that production. Obviously, when Tua leaves or when Tua gets hurt, his production does dip a lot. But when Tua's there, his production is so high. He's super fast, super agile, and he's probably the best receiving back in the league. Number 7, De'Von Achane.
Yeah, my number 8. It's hard not to put him in the top 10, and I'm just gonna do it because I like to glaze him a little bit. But Bucky Irving had an insane year, and he only started 3 games. Like, this guy had 1,100 rushing yards and like 7 touchdowns just on the ground, not including his receiving game, which we know how they love to do these little checkdowns to running backs, and they just get that yak. But he was insane, and he only started 3 games. I mean, he's coming in as a backup, and he's putting up crazy numbers. I can't wait to see what he does as the starter. This is going to be very exciting. He's my number 8.
Yeah, my number 8, I'm going to give it to Chuba Hubbard. I mean, he's a guy who is also flying under the radar now, but he was a demon. He scores touchdowns. He's just a power back. He gets in there. He gets the yards that you need. He went over 1,000 this year. He probably had 10-plus touchdowns. I don't know his stats off the top of my head. But I'm expecting a big year from Chuba, and I'm excited for what he is going to show.
Yeah, for sure. My number 9, I'm going to go between 2 guys here. I'm just going to go the simple pick. Yeah, okay. I'm going to go James Cook. Number 9, James Cook. This is around where I have him. I think if we're talking about right after the season, we probably would have him a little bit higher. But when you actually look into his production, a lot of his touchdowns are like right in the red zone, very replaceable production. A lot of his touchdowns are not that far. You know what I mean? He gets a lot of yards. He has like 1,000-yard season the past 2 years. He's been doing a really good job, but he doesn't play on the 3rd downs. He's not a 3-down back. And this might be also recency bias just due to the fact that this is what's coming out now that he needs a contract. But I do have him at number 9.
Yeah, well, I'll get into it when I have James Cook for mine. But my number 9, I'm in between so many guys. I mean, there's Joe Mixon. But I think I'm gonna give it to your guy. I'm gonna give it to Bucky Irving. I mean, wasn't even the starter, and he had 1,300 all-purpose yards. Now he's got that backfield to himself. He's so explosive. You see him, he cuts one way and then traverses the entire field and gets a big gain. It's like you're watching Pee Wee football when you're watching Bucky Irving play. It's crazy. He makes guys miss. He's so hard to tackle. I mean, it's gonna be really fun watching him this year as he's the starter. It's gonna be a good season for Tampa.
No, for sure. And my number 10, I'm gonna have Joe Mixon because Joe Mixon, I really thought that he was on the downslope of his career, but even though he missed 4 games, he still put up insane numbers with Houston. And I'm really happy for him. I'm really happy that his production has improved because I thought his career was over, to be honest, with the Bengals. It seemed like they really didn't have anyone, you know what I mean? Which obviously Joe Mixon came out and he was great. His first 2 games were a little rough, but when he came back from injury, he was a fantasy demon. He was putting up points like no other. I love Joe Mixon. And then I'll just throw in a little honorable mention for Chase Brown because he had a really good year as well.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, so for my number 10, there's a whole bunch of guys I'm thinking of. I'm in a 3-way tie, but I got to give it to James Cook, Buffalo Bills running back. You can't blame him for wanting to get paid, not at all. I mean, guy's a stud. I mean, you said that a lot of his touchdowns were from the one, which is true, but he does have big runs for touchdowns. Mm-hmm. He got better at catching the ball. I think more of not being a 3-down back is more of you have Ty Johnson on the team, who's an unbelievable 3rd-down back, and that's like his main trait is being a 3rd-down back. But I think he can be a 3-down back depending on certain circumstances. But, I mean, if you look at James Cook, out of every single guy that we had in this top 10 list, and other maybe Bucky Irving, touches, James Cook does not get that many carries. Mm-hmm. I mean, James Cook he's on the field maybe 50% of times. So the production he's putting up while he's on the field is kind of crazy for the amount of carries he's get, as Buffalo has 3 great running backs with James, Ray, and Ty Johnson. But it's kind of just, you got to keep that in mind. Sample size, I mean, if he gets Josh Jacobs type carries, how many yards is he really going for? We don't know, but I think sample size is a big one. I really just don't think we're going to see that kind of – I don't think the Bills are going to hand the ball off to him that many times when you got guys like Ray Davis and Ty to get some carries and Josh Allen to get some carries. I don't think that's going to happen. But honorable mentions, I got 2 of them. Joe Mixon, like you said, Mr. Consistent, does good. I thought he was on the downhill spiral of his career, but not. He's still here. He's still cooking. And then someone who deserves a lot of love is James Conner. James Conner is so underrated. He is so good in Arizona. Unbelievable receiving back. He's great rushing. It's just a little bit of consistency. I mean, 1 week he's running for 150 yards and 2 touchdowns. The next he's going for like 40. So it's just a little bit of that consistency, but Arizona is just kind of an inconsistent team to begin with. But I think that's a guy who deserves a lot of flowers, is him. And David Montgomery, I also forgot about him. There's just so many good running backs in the league.
No, we actually missed so many players, but I'm not even going to get into it. I'll give a couple honorable mentions. Just I want to talk about them. What's up, Angelo? What's going on, brother?
We could go for another hour.
Yeah, no, seriously. But players that we didn't mention that you're going to actually be very surprised about is guys like Christian McCaffrey.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot about Christian McCaffrey, but that's also because he had a really hard season last year with the
injury-wise.
He is one of those players that are just so good. 2,000 all-purpose yards, 2 separate times. He's had 1,000 rushing and 1,000 receiving in the same season. He's so good. Guys like Kyren Williams can easily make.
Oh my God!
Yeah, easily.
Oh wow! I feel like I want to switch my list now.
That's what I'm saying. Like we'll do this eventually down the line, but there are so many running backs that you can just throw into any situation. How many guys do you think we actually did forget about? Like, we forgot about a ton of players.
I mean, we just did this straight off of, like, out of our heads. So, I honestly, if with this now information of forgetting Kyren, I would switch Chuba and Kyren 100%. Maybe move Kyren up, actually. I'd actually think I'd move Kyren to 6 and have everyone else move down. But, and no Chuba. But,
hey,
there's a lot of guys.
We'll redo it eventually, but like even guys like David Montgomery, like he could easily make the top 10. You know what I mean?
There's just so many good running backs in the league.
Yeah, I mean you just got to look at like the teams. Like we didn't even mention certain divisions. There's guys that have played out of their mind. I know Tony Pollard had 1,000 yards this year.
Yeah, Tony Pollard was good.
He could have been up there. Guys like Tajay Spears also had good seasons. They actually had a great running back duo. Now that I think
they did, they had a. I mean, like statistic wise, it's not going to be like super like mind boggling, but if you just see them as they play, they look really good. That's exciting for them.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Turf Talk, that's going to be the end of this podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed. It was a very engaging podcast, and we are back. We'll be trying to do at least one video per week. We're not going to do any promises, but we will be back more consistently, and we will be talking more NFL as the season comes closer.
Yes, sir.
100%. Be on the lookout for more in live videos, too. We will be doing more stuff like the 1v1 series.
Let's chill with the comments for your next podcast.
Yeah, maybe don't be spamming stuff like the N-word and other swear words.
Not a good way to have this. Is really bad my quality. Oh my god.
It was maybe don't put that in the chat, and that's why all of you are banned, especially guys like Mick and autism is my superpower. Mick, Yam, don't be putting that in the chat, please. Well, Turf Talk, that'll be the end of the video. Like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know what your favorite take was and what your least favorite take was. We're out. Peace.